So here we have our next topic, integration involving a linear factor. Disclaimer, this video is for the integrated math students of the Navy Sixth Form College. They have this handout and they will be following along while I explain. Now, if we have a function in the form ax plus b raised to the n, meaning the function is raised to a power, there is a method that we will use to integrate it. Now, ax plus b here represents a linear function, and a linear function is one in which the highest power of x is 1. So linear functions, an example is like you see here, 2x minus 3. The highest power of x is 1. Now if I have 2x cubed minus 3, it's no longer a linear function. And this method cannot be used to integrate it. So let's go ahead and see what the rule is. It says when we're integrating a linear function, linear function raised to a power, we add 1 to the power and divide by that answer. But additionally, we have to now multiply that by a, where a is the coefficient of x. And we put our plus c at the end as normal. Once more, we add 1 to the power and divide by that answer. But before we go ahead and divide, we have to multiply it by a. And this method can not be used for power of -1 or where a is 0. Let's just look into the examples. So in our first example, we have the integral of 2x minus 3 all cubed. So we're going to add 1 to our power to get 4 and divide by 4. But notice this 4 gets multiplied by 2, which is the coefficient of x. So now it's 2 times 4, 8. And now this 8 goes up as 1 over 8 and making our answer 1 over 8, 2x minus 3 raised to a power of 4. Once more, we add 1 to our power to get 4 and divide by 4, but it first needs to get multiplied by a, which is the coefficient of x, and in this case a is 2. So 2 fourths is 8. Now our answer can either be 2x minus 3 all raised to a power of 4 over 8 plus c, or we can bring this 8 up as 1 over 8. Next example, the integral of 5 minus 7x all raised to a power of -5. So, like normal, we're going to add 1 to our -5 and we get -4, and we divide by -4. And this needs to get multiplied by a. So, right, remember a is the coefficient of x, and in this case, the coefficient of x is a -7. So our answer can be 5 minus 7x raised to a -4 all over a positive 28, because -7 times -4 is a positive 28, or we can simply bring this 28 to the other side as 1 over 28, which is the reciprocal or the upturn when it is brought up. And we put our plus c at the end as normal. In our third example, we have 3 minus 2t, the square root, of 3 minus 2t dt, integrating with respect to t. First, this gets rewritten as 3 minus 2t raised to the half. Instead of the root sign, we can raise it to a half. So now, when we integrate, we'll add 1 to this power to get 3 over 2 and divide by 3 over 2. but first it gets multiplied by a, in this case the coefficient of t, which is -2. When we multiply -2 by a 3/2, you will get a -3. So your answer could be -3 minus 2t all raised to 3/2 over 3 plus c, or this -3 gets brought over or brought up as -1/3. In our fourth example, we have the integral of 4/3x plus 2 all raised to a power of 2. So the top part is squared and the bottom part is also squared because they are all inside the bracket. So first simplified, squaring the 4 gives me 16 and the 3x plus 2 all gets squared. So when this 3x plus 2 squared is brought up, it is now raised to a -2. So now this is the function that we're integrating. So following the rule, we add 1 to our -2 to get -1 and divide by -1, and it gets this -1 below will get multiplied by a, which is the number in front of the x, a 3. So we have 3 times -1 is a -3, and it gets brought over, making our answer -16/3, and our 3x plus 2 raised to a -1. In this last example, we have 5 all over the cube root of 2 minus 5x. Now this 2 minus 5x is cube root, meaning it is the same as being raised to a power of 1/3. So therefore, when it is brought up, it becomes 2 minus 5x raised to a -1/3. So now we can integrate. We'll add 1 to our power, or add 3/3 to get 2/3, and we divide by 2/3. But that 2/3 is going to get multiplied by the coefficient of x, which is a -5. So -5 times 2/3 is a -10/3. So when it is brought up, it becomes a -3/10 and gets multiplied by the 5 and simplified, giving us -3/2. So now our answer is -3/2, and our 2 minus 5x all raised to a power of 2/3 plus c. So for our practice questions, just like we've been doing, we're going to add 1 to our power. In this case, we're adding 4/4 to get 7/4, and we divide by the 7/4. But first it gets multiplied by the coefficient of x. In this case is a 6. Now 6 times 7/4 is going to be 6 7 42/4, which is simplified as 21/4. So when it gets brought, 21/2. Once more, 6 7 42/4, simplified is 21/2, and gets brought up as the upturn or the reciprocal, 2/21. So now this is our answer, 2/21, and our 6x minus 7 raised to a 7, 6x minus 5 raised to a 7/4 plus c. Second question. The integral of -9 all over 10 minus x raised to a power of 4. Now our 10 minus x to the 4 gets brought up and gets raised to a -4. So now this is what we're integrating. We add 1 to our -4 to get -3 and divide by -3. But that -3 needs to get multiplied multiplied by the coefficient of x, and in this case that is a negative 1. So that's negative 1 times negative 3 is a positive 3. Now our answer becomes a negative 9 over 3, which is a negative 3. And now our 10 minus x raised to the negative 3 goes back, plus c. Third question, the integral of 1 over the 5th root of 5x plus 3. Now, this 5x plus 3 below is raised to a 1 over 5, so it gets brought up and be raised to a negative 1 over 5. So this is what we will integrate. So when we add 1 to negative 1 over 5, we get 4 over 5, and we divide by that 4 over 5, which gets multiplied by the coefficient of x. In this case, it's the 5. Now 5 times 4 over 5 is 20 over 5, or 4. So it can be left as 4 below or brought up as negative 1 over 4, as you see here. So this is our answer, negative 1 over 4. Forgive me, repeating, 5 times 4 over 5 is a positive 4, and it gets brought up as 1 over 4, the reciprocal. So 4 over 1 gets brought up as 1 over 4, and now our answer is 1 over 4, and 5 minus 5x plus 3 raised to a 4 over 5 plus c. Fourth question, the integral of 4 times 3x plus 8 all raised to a negative 3/4. So we'll add 1 to our power to get 1 over 4. Remember, that's the same as adding 4 over 4. Negative 3 plus 4 is a positive 1. And we divide by that 1 over 4 that we get, which gets multiplied by the coefficient of x. In this case is a 3. So now 3 times 1 over 4 is 3 over 4, and it gets brought up as 4 over 3. So now 4 times 4 is 16 over 3. So once again, below we'll get 3 over 4, and it gets brought up as 4 over 3. Now it gets multiplied by the 4 to give us 16 over 3, and our 3x plus 8 all raised to the quarter goes back, and our plus c at the end. Last question. The integral of 3 over 5 minus 9x all cube. So the 3 will get cubed, and our 5 minus 9x also gets cubed, top and bottom, giving us this answer. Now, this 5 minus x cubed can be brought up and raised to a negative 3. So now this is the function we're integrating. We'll add 1 to our power to get negative 2 and divide by negative 2, which first gets multiplied by the coefficient of x. In this case is a negative 9. So negative 9 times negative 2 is a positive 18. So we now have 27 over 18 simplified is a 3 over 2. 9 into 27, 3. 9 into 18 is 2. So this is our answer, 3 over 2, and our 5 minus 9x raised to a negative 2 plus c.